It's back to work day. Or is it? Today was supposed to be when people started to ease very slightly out of lockdown. But for all the commuters on trains and buses, is that really happening? Here's one man who wants to know. With the economy having shrunk last quarter at the fastest rate since the financial crisis, the Chancellor says it's time to start using the R word.
The first quarter was that bad based on just a few days of the impact of coronavirus in March. So, yes, it is now very likely that the UK is facing a significant recession at the moment and this year.
The depth of that recession will depend on how many people do go back to work, or indeed whether social distancing rules make that impossible. According to those GDP numbers, the wearing apparel sector faced the biggest of all contractions in Q1, down a whopping 19%. But this clothing company in Telford is now getting the machines rolling again, this time specialising in personal protective equipment.
We're definitely seeing an increase. We've got a lot of companies coming back to us now for PPE so they can get their workforce back to work. But I think it is a slow trickle, and we're also having supply chain issues ourselves. There's a lot of stock shortages, especially around PPE.
For some workers, though, confusion still reigns about whether the lockdown rules have actually changed. So, have they?
There are some sectors where people can be at work today, particularly in manufacturing or construction, for example, where they can't work from home.
But that's not a change in the rules, is it? They could have worked anyway.
And many of them have been, but not all of them. And we think it was important to make sure that those who could work and their businesses could be open, that they felt secure enough to be open. So that is now completely something that is happening.
Now, the subtext here is that in some sense the lockdown has been even more successful than the Treasury had really expected. More people working from home, more people on the furlough scheme, and not just from those core sectors it was focused on initially. And that means more taxpayers' money spent on it and potentially an even deeper recession. All the more reason why the Chancellor is determined to press every button he can and restart the economy, getting people back to work. If only it were that simple. For instance, much as it would like to, this food manufacturer in Portsmouth can't really get fully back to work because its customers, mainly the hospitality sector, are definitely out of action.
It's frustrating, but it's downheartening because we've got a team of people here waiting to come back to work. If the hospitality sector perhaps doesn't open until October or even 2021, I just don't know how we'll manage that.
You see, there is no simple button you can press to restart the economy because guess what? Companies are making their own minds up about whether it's safe to return. So back to that question at the start, did more people take to the roads and get back to work today? Actually, the amount of rush hour traffic in London fell compared with Monday and Tuesday. Ed Conway, Sky News.